I think, first of all, glad we're back playing again this week. On a Friday night, I think we had a good week last week with the 3 days that we had. Basically, last Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, really working on fundamental type stuff, blocking, tackling, um, throwing and catching, basic fundamentals. And then we came back in and had our normal week. Went Saturday, had yesterday off, and then today is like a Tuesday practice for us that we're getting ready to hit today and get on our normal routine. It's obviously you're coming off of two tough losses back to back, and we know how big a game this is for us, and probably very similar for them as well. They've lost two in a row also, so it's a big game, ACC game for us, and we're excited about getting back on the field and playing. I think our guys had good attitudes, last week practicing. They got after it. Typically sometimes in a bye week, you get guys want to sit out or, guys that have played a bunch of ball. But, I mean, our guys all participated and went hard in practice. And so that was a good sign to see. And we're just looking forward to back going about our business this week and going down to Atlanta and getting a win.
Hey, Scott, it's Cameron from the Courier-Journal. I know we talked about Malik.
I think we lost him if somebody else wants to jump in.
Coach, hey, it's Jody Demling with Cardinal Authority. Can you mentioned last week about a lot of dings and a lot of guys being beat up. Was the week off rest obviously good for those guys, and how have you kind of come out of it? How do you think you are moving into game week?
Yeah, I think it was a good time for us. After playing 3 games, it was nice to have not be able to play in that regard. So we did get some guys healed up a little bit, and I think we're in pretty good shape as we basically head toward Tuesday type practice, and pretty much all our guys are going to be available.
Scott, Cameron from the Courier-Journal. Sorry, I dropped my phone and hung up on accident. Yeah, so I know you kind of touched on injuries right there, and I may have missed the beginning of it, but just how much improvement have you seen from Malik in terms of kind of his health since the Pittsburgh game?
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better. He practiced last week on our, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday that we have. He was a little bit limited in practice, and then this weekend was full go on Saturday. And of course, yesterday we had a day off. He'll be full go again today. He's feeling good, and ready to go. So, there shouldn't be any limitations for him as he heads into this game.
Hey, Scott, Michael McCann, Cardinal Authority.
Well, I think so. I mean, you're right. I mean, at times we look really, really good on just pick either side. And guys, when they're doing what they're supposed to do, we talked about that this morning as a staff, just doing what you're supposed to do, and then we look like a pretty good football team. We just have not put it all together. And that's the one thing that we're looking to do. I mean, obviously on both sides of the ball, being able to just fundamentally, be where you're supposed to be defensively. And just playing ball, and not getting out of your gaps or those type things, and we talk about, making the offense have to earn it. And then the same thing on the other side of the ball, you talk about offensively, that was a very poor outing by us, to say the least. We got whipped up front. We didn't make plays in the passing game. So we were just not in sync at all offensively. And when that happens, and you're playing a really good defense, then you're gonna look really bad, and then that's what happened to us. You go back and watch it on film. If the guys were doing what they're supposed to do, then there's plays to be made there. We had opportunities there plenty of times to make plays and did not do it. And so, yeah, I think if we put everything together, if the guys do what they're supposed to do, then we're going to be fine. I mean, I think the effort's there. The guys are playing hard. It's just not doing what they're supposed to do at times, and I think that's where we got to get cleaned up.
Scott, Michael McCammon, you mentioned that you got whipped up front. Obviously, Mikhail got sacked 7 times. What's the room been like for the offensive front this week? As they've reviewed the film that obviously wasn't very pretty for them to watch. What's been the reaction to that?
Well, I thought they came out strong. Had a good week last week. I mean, they're one of the groups that I was kind of talking about last week. As the starters, there wasn't anybody that took a day off. I mean, they all were in there practicing, going hard. It was a tough week for them last week. I mean, Coach Lefford, and he'll speak on it, I guess, maybe a little bit later on, but this week. But he got after him pretty good, and it was just doing some things that we really haven't uncharacteristically. Haven't been doing up front, and so we got back to basics this past week and really just emphasized those things, and the guys got after it pretty hard and had a good week of practice. Some of the things that we did, I mean, it's just hard to explain why we did some of the things we did up front, and but we know we're capable of doing it. I mean, the week before against Miami, I thought they blocked well against a really good defensive front there. So. We have to get back and doing the kind of stuff that we do and get good at it. Well, I think a lot of it was just technique and their fundamentals and some of the things, maybe, too loose on a block. And if you're a little bit loose and then they can play back up underneath you, and then they're good enough to make plays. I mean, they had a lot of length up front with their two defensive ends. They got good push from their linebackers when they brought pressure. And so really a lot of it was just the fundamentals of taking the proper steps that you need to take, your hat placement, where your hands, all the little things. I think it's really you put those things together and it ended up getting us beat up front. So, I mean, it just wasn't for the offensive line. It was the tight ends also. I mean, I thought, it was our worst blocking from our tight ends that we've had since we've been here, maybe. I mean, it was bad in that regard. So, but I mean, it's something that's very fixable. And we had a really good week working on all those things and those blocks. And there was only a few times where we just got whipped one-on-one, with one of our linemen and one of their defensive ends, and it wasn't like it was. It felt like it was that way on a game. But when you go back and actually watch the film, it wasn't that way.
Fred Gallagher. What do you tell your guys now? This is obviously not the start you had hoped for, that the players had hoped for. How do you sort of reboot, for lack of a better expression, moving forward?
Well, I mean, we really take it one game at a time. I mean, we obviously try to learn on anything in the past, whether we had hit one of those balls at the end of the game for a touchdown. That each game this week to go out to get a win.
Scott, hey, it's Jody again from Cardinal Authority. You mentioned last week when we talked to you about getting the young guys some extra practice. How did that go during the bye week, and did you continue to do that throughout the week and see some things you like?
Yeah, it was good. We did that for 3 days last week, about 15 minutes at the end of practice, just really basically scrimmaging without bringing them to the ground. There was a lot of good work on both sides of the ball. Minkins did some really good things in the secondary. Watkins did some good things as wide receiver. Working our really kind of working our second offensive line up front. So they did some good things. And really the guys that we've got guys that are traveling right now that were able to get some really, really good reps in those 15 minutes in all 3 days. So a total of 45 minutes really all last week. And so that stuff's just valuable. I mean, you're trying to gain them a little bit of experience before you actually put them out in the game, before they can, see live action. Now, some of these guys, Lovey Jenkins, another one, some of these guys have actually played in the games the last couple of weeks. They've been on special teams, a little bit on offense and defense. But hopefully you gradually starting to put them in more and more throughout the season, and they'll continue to learn and grow because we think they're going to be really good players.
Scott Brown. Go ahead.
Okay. Scott Cameron from the Courier Journal. Malik has been over his career usually pretty safe with the ball. Really didn't fumble a lot. I think he threw 5 picks all last year. I know he's throwing more. Just when you look at film or you talk to him, what are some of the things that you guys talk about to make sure he can clean some of that up going forward to the rest of the season?
Yeah, one was a 4th down right here in our stadium, and then Pittsburgh was 4th down at the end of the game. That were interceptions. A couple of them have been bad decisions, throwing into, coverage against Miami. I know one of the ones on the sideline, just should have thrown the ball away. And really, so it just comes down, a lot of it comes down to decision making. As I think back on the interceptions, the one we threw a post route against Pittsburgh and it was interception. Now that was a bad ball placement. He's got to throw that, lead the receiver. He threw it behind him. That was a good interception. But most of them have been, a bad decision, throwing it late or not throwing it at all to those guys. And, all last year did a good job of taking care of the football. And, he's got to continue to do that. It's about making the right proper decisions. And then in the running game, carrying the ball loosely cost him against Miami with the fumble. We've had too many fumbles just in general from our running backs and our quarterbacks in the first 3 games. We got to do a much better job of taking care of the football. That's the one thing we talked about. We got to do better on 3rd down. We got to do better taking care of the football. Those two things we got to do a lot better job at. And those are some of the things we worked on the last week.
Coach, this is Matt McGowan with Sports Illustrated. Talk a little bit about this Georgia Tech team. What's something that stands out to you when you fire up the film?
Well, I think, for them, they started a freshman at quarterback and very talented player. He's got great size. He can run also. I think he may be leading them in rushing. He has turned the ball over. So that's one thing that obviously we have in common. Both teams have turned the football over, which is not good. But they also have a freshman running back. I think it's a really, really good running back. He's a good player, number 21. Very fast. He's also their starting kick returner. So they have some playmakers offensively and defensively. They like to bring pressure. I mean, I coached with Coach Collins at FIU in 2010. When I was the OC, he was the DC, and I know he likes to bring pressure. He's a very aggressive coach when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. He wants his kids to play fast and cause havoc on that side of the ball. I think, in the last couple of years, they've been able to manufacture some wins, a lot of it in special teams. They've done some good things in special team wise over the last year and a half to help them out as well. They have a punter. I think he's leading the ACC in punting, about 48 yards a punt, and also in the net punting. So they can flip the field in that regard. He's there. He's building that program up. He's, they've done a good job in recruiting, and he's playing some of those young players. I think it comes back to us. We're really more worried about us and focused on what we have to do in order to go out and play well in order to get the win. I think more so than anything about what Georgia Tech's doing.
Scott, Russ Brown, Kentucky Today. You have talked about your problems kicking and punting, but this is the flip thing with Georgia Tech has been very good with their kick returns and punt returns. Have you been pleased with your defense on punt returns and kick returns?
I think for the most part we've done pretty well. On our punt team, we put our guys in a bind. We haven't punted the ball very good, and I think last Saturday we're backed up against Pitt and on the goal line. That's a great opportunity. That's where you want to flip the field, and we hit a low punt that was a 3-3 hang time, which is you want over 4-0. And they got a return on us, but we're not, you're not even giving your kids a chance to get down the field on those. And so we got to do a much better job of getting more hang time, allowing our cover teams to get down the field. I think kickoff team's been fine. We've done a pretty decent job with that. But again, where we haven't done very good is the two things: is punting the football and then in our kickoff return. Last year we were one of the top in the country in kickoff return, and we've been not very good at all in that, and we got to do a much better job with that. We think this week we'll get an opportunity maybe to get some returns, and so hopefully we'll do a better job blocking up front and be able to pop a couple returns out.
All right, we'll take a couple more before we wrap up with Coach Sapp.
Yeah,
Scott, hey, it's Jody again from Cardinal Authority.
Go ahead, Jody.
Scott, it's Jody from Cardinal Authority. Most of the times during a bye week, during an open week, you get the coaches get a lot of recruiting finished. I know you guys practice, and you can't be on the road right now and with everything going on. What were you able to do as far as recruiting and with your assistant coaches last week? Because it's an important week to get out there and let some guys know that you like them.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, we've kind of trying to do this, on a weekly basis, just trying to stay in contact with our guys, guys that have been committed to us, and some other guys that we are recruiting. The negative of this whole deal, and it's negative for the recruits and for us, is that we're not allowed to go out. I mean, we can't go out and see any of these guys. Where normally, Jody, what we'd be doing last week is on Friday night, we're everywhere. We're going to be at all the games and watching these guys play and really kind of critiquing and evaluating. And that's the one thing that you can't see. I mean, we're watching film every day here on, new 2022 guys and also 2021 guys. And, you haven't seen them. You hadn't been able to go out and actually physically look at them. We're kind of guessing on some sizes and those type of things. And so it does make it a lot more difficult. And the fact that the guys can't really come here either as recruits in our home games. I mean, so it's certainly it's a new time, a new era for all of us colleges and the prospects. I feel for these guys because they obviously want to go on these campuses and meet with coaches and be able to see them there. But it's way different now. So we're utilizing the video calls and conference calls and those type of things and trying just to stay in contact.
Cameron, take the last one.
Yeah, Scott, you mentioned him, Georgia Tech's quarterback. Obviously, you said he's known to the last 3 games throw some interceptions. Defensively, when you're going against a quarterback like that, is the idea to kind of pressure him a little bit more to kind of make him make a quick decision?
Well, I think for us, it's going to start and stop in the running game. I think they've done a really good job running the football. I talked about their freshman running back, but they actually play like 3 running backs there. I think all 3 of them are very good running backs. And then on top of that, you add what the quarterback can do with his legs. I mean, he's a big kid that can run. So I think it starts right there. You have to be very sound in stopping the run. And then when he does throw it, we do know we need to bring pressure. We need to be able to get into the backfield. We're not doing a very good job of when we just bring 3 or 4 guys putting pressure on quarterback. So if we do want to put pressure on them, we feel like you do have to bring a little bit more backers. Where you're bringing 5 guys, maybe 6 at times to get in the backfield to try to make him, like you mentioned, throw the ball a little bit earlier than he would like to and put pressure on him that way. And then I think hopefully that will create some turnovers. We got to do a better job of creating turnovers as well. So something certainly we looked at last week also.
All right, Coach. Thanks for the time.
Okay. Thanks, guys.